Hi, I'm Sherry Bishop with HS82, and I'm a member of the Safety Culture Communications subgroup. I'm here with Glenn Podonsky, the Chief of Health, Safety, and Security, and we're going to discuss some questions that we in the Communications subgroup have about the HSS Safety Culture Report. Thanks for meeting with me today, Mr. Podonsky. We all know that part of HSS's mission is to evaluate other organizations. I guess the first question is to ask why you felt the need to evaluate our organization.
Well, Sherry, that's a great question, and I will tell you that as we were going around the complex on behalf of the Secretary to take a look at what the rest of the community looked like, I thought with discussions with my senior colleagues that we really ought to take a look at ourselves as well. The safety culture of the department clearly has a lot of work, and it would be naive for us to think that we too in HSS wouldn't have the same thing. Nobody asked us to do this. It wasn't a requirement, but it's something that we felt that we really should take a look at so that we could actually build an organization that we would all be proud to be part of. And the organizational culture group is actually leading the way.
It took a lot of courage to do that, and as it turns out, some of the results were pretty critical of HSS. So were you surprised by that?
Yeah, I really was. I was taken aback because I was not aware at the depths of the concerns that were expressed by the people. And, you know, as the safety and health leaders of the organization of the Department of Energy, we really have to be better than what we found out in the field. And so what we did is we used the same testing methodologies when we brought in the expertise to really get at the core of what the problem was. And once we saw what the results are, we're responding aggressively to try to address these issues because it's really important for everybody to feel that HSS is their organization. It's not mine or my deputy's organization, it's all of ours. And if we're going to be successful for the department, for the workers, we have to have everybody involved. And I'm really looking forward to the organizational culture group to actually develop a lot of paths forward that we can all embrace and follow.
Well, I have to ask, what really surprised you most about the report?
I was really surprised about how negative people's perception was. And as a senior manager in the department, I would tell you, I've learned a long time ago that if you perceive something, then that is your reality. And these are things that we're going to have to address in terms of the openness, the fear of reprisal. There's just a whole smorgasbord of issues that people are feeling. And if we're going to really rise to become a great organization that I think that we can be, we're going to have to address all of these issues.
The next issue isn't really unique to HSS, but the report did point out our staff sometimes feel uncertain about how messages will be received up the chain. And some staff have a fear of retribution. So in an environment like that, good ideas sometimes don't have a chance to rise to your level, to upper management's level. What can we do to make sure there's open communication in HSS and that we encourage constructive criticism and innovation?
Well, first of all, nobody in HSS should ever feel that they're going to be reprised against for speaking their mind. We need to encourage everybody to come forward. No concept, no idea is not worth listening to. If people are going to feel that HSS is part of their organization, it's their organization, then they have to actually be not fearful, and there should be no reason. And so we're going to have to redouble our efforts as a management team to make sure that people understand that and encourage that this is not a bumper sticker. When people have issues to be raised, there shouldn't be fear. There shouldn't be a concern that nobody's going to listen to them, that they're not going to get their promotions or whatever else that they feel. They have to have a sense that they have a right to raise issues, especially if we're looking to make HSS a better place to work.
Another thing, though, that the report pointed out is that staff feel Tier 1 managers really don't have control over their programs, that maybe senior management's too involved and are actually barriers to productivity. And then there's that recurring theme of general lack of communication in HSS. So it boils down to the perception that there's a lack of trust in Tier 1 managers. I know we're developing an SOP to streamline the correspondence process, but the issue really is deeper than that. And it's not something an SOP alone can take care of. So how can we address that?
Well, first of all, I think we understand the concerns. We have some very talented, technically competent Tier 1 managers, and if they weren't, they wouldn't be in those jobs. But I would tell you that we absolutely encourage them to own and operate their own programs. My job is to lead the organization, is not to make all the decisions that for everybody in their individual organization. They have to have the sense that they too are part of the bigger organization and the team. They have to be able to feel that they can come forward. This surprised me in the safety culture analysis and the review, because we have encouraged everybody to go and be involved with assistant secretaries, undersecretaries. They don't have to come to HS front office and ask permission. What they have to do is stand up and start taking the control that we've given them. And the fact that some people perceive them not to have that, then I have to make sure that everybody understands that this is their organization. It's the same theme throughout most of the questions that you've asked me. Mm-hmm. This is not my organization, it's our organization. And when you look at the beginnings of HSS, you know, it was put together by two different secretaries of energy. And one wanted the security element put in, the other wanted the safety element to be put in. So one of the things that is very important is that we recognize we actually have multiple cultures within HSS. We have a safety, we have a security, we have an oversight. We have to have one HSS, and everybody has to feel a part of that. And a big solution is going to be improving the communication. We've already opened up and made sure that the Tier 1 managers meetings are open for everybody to attend, and I would encourage everybody to come in. In fact, they'll see that there's nothing hidden going on. They have to feel that they can be part of that as well as part of a lot of the decision making.
Well, finally, the report noted that there seems to be a confusion about roles and responsibilities and a general lack of integration across HSS. What can we do to foster a more open and collaborative organization?
That goes back to something I was just talking about, the three different cultures in the organization. People need to feel that this is one organization, and we're going to have to redouble our efforts with communication. And I'm going to be looking forward to the organizational culture group to help us include more of the different disciplines, because we have some very talented people, and they all need to feel that they have a right to have their voices heard. They have a right to know what the other parts of the organization are doing. And when people start feeling that, then the organization will start turning around to be a great agency group to work for.
I think you're right. So as a follow-up, what did you think about the perception that there's an inner circle within HSS?
I don't want to be glib, but if there's an inner circle, I'd like to join it. But seriously, I was shocked by that, because I've never operated that way. I know that all program offices at the senior level, you have people that you rely on, but the inner circle concept is something that we're going to have to break, because if people perceive that, then that's their reality. And we can't operate with an inner circle. We need everybody's involvement. And oftentimes I will reach out to subject matter experts. I'll break the chain of command because I need answers on things I have no answer for, and we have to use the expertise. So I would just say the concept of an inner circle I find very distasteful, that people feel that way, and we're going to have to make sure that people understand that does not exist. And just because I say it doesn't exist, that does not going to convince people. People are going to have the sense that what we're saying here, even on this interview, is real. And so we're going to have to double our efforts on the communication, and people are going to have to understand that we reach out to everybody, because it's going to take all of us in HSS, on all of our expertise, to bring us to the organization that we need to be.
Well, I really appreciate the time you spent with me today, and I think that everybody likes to hear your opinions and hear where we're going as an organization, so we really appreciate it.
Well, thank you, and thank your group for coming forward with the questions. I think it's important that we get the message out and that people understand that this is really who we are and this is what we want to do, and that they count. And for HSS to be the advocate for the workers out in the community, then it's going to take all of us, and it's going to take all of our technical talent and all of our humanity to make this work. So thank you.